I am doing this YouTube video to show you how I am spending my days in Lyon. Currently, we are in November and the days are getting colder and colder, but we still get some sunny days from time to time. Currently, I'm spending my days preparing for job interviews, including one with Google that is coming soon. To prepare my interviews, I go usually to the library and I review concepts such as data structure and algorithms. I also review concepts related to Android development since I'm trying to get a job in that field. These days, I'm also trying to develop a side hustle and maybe turn it into a business that revolves around 3D modeling and more specifically animation, even though I'm also trying to work on modeling 3D assets that could be used in gaming, and I do that with Blender. And see that autumn is here by looking at the trees and noticing the change in colors of the leaves. Lyon is a mid-sized city. One thing that makes it special is that it has two rivers with well-maintained riversides. This gives me lots of opportunities to go on walks and or basically just go sit on a bench with a view on the river and relax. Overall, Lyon is a very pedestrian friendly city with many areas arranged for walking. And basically these days my main sport has become walking. The thing to keep in mind is that we are in autumn now and we get some rains. And basically, when that happens, I take the buses or the metro. And Lyon has a good transportation system with four metro line and trams and many trams and buses. I take the metro to go to the library. These days at the library, I'm preparing my job interviews. Since I am interviewing for technical positions, one way I prepare is by solving coding problems. I find these problems on platforms such as LeetCode or HackerRank. Another thing I do at the library is working on developing a business. The business is mainly about developing 3D animation in Blender. Here is an example of an animation I made. What led me to do 3D animation in Blender was Android in gaming development. My idea was to develop an Android game app. One way to develop a game in 3D is using Unity, which is a game engine. One thing we need to develop a game are assets. These are basically anything you see in the game, like the character, houses, streets, cars, and trees. To get these assets and models, there are basically two ways. Either you get them online, for example, on stores, or you model them yourself with a tool like Blender 3D. That is why I started using Blender and learned how to model 3D assets. Then I also figured that we can animate these assets and models in Blender. And that is how I started my animation journey in Blender. I went ahead and started to develop my game in Unity using the assets I made in Blender. I haven't finished building the game yet, but I'm still trying. I also have realized that it takes a lot of efforts and work, and that monetizing it might take a long time. That is why I decided to focus more on 3D modeling and animation in Blender, which I think are easier to monetize. That's it for this video. Hope you learned something new and enjoyed watching it, and hope to see you in next video.